And with that, we are ready to get into Sundered Any Percent by Dragonite13. So I will pass you on over to Dragonite now so that they can introduce that run. Thank you so much for joining us. Please take it away.
All right. Hello, can you hear me all right?
I can indeed, thank you.
Perfect. So, welcome. This is Sundered. This is a fun little Metroidvania that came out back in 2017. We're playing the Eldritch Edition, which is kind of the upgraded re-release. It's got a bunch of new content and new quality of life features that make the speedrun infinitely easier than when the game first came out. And I think I guess we'll kind of just get straight into it. I'll talk about how the game kind of works as we get into it. We're going to play on easy mode.
Would you like me to count you into the start of the run? Are we at that?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, alright, cool. Well, yeah, so if you want to get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. So, this, like I said, this is a kind of Metroidvania type game, but it's also got a lot of very roguelike elements. So it's not your kind of traditional Metroidvania where you've got a bunch of different abilities and things that you get throughout the game. There's a lot of randomized elements, there's a lot of RNG at play. Things have the potential to go really well or really bad, so we'll see what happens today. The obligatory opening cutscene joke. Do we have to just sit here and walk right for a bit? But it does give us a chance to kind of talk a bit more about how it kind of works. So, we do have the kind of standard elements that you would expect out of kind of a Metroidvania. We've got a few kind of ability upgrades, movement upgrades, combat upgrades, things like that. But we've also got some more, random elements. The room layout is not always the same. The positioning of different items, well, not the key items, but the positioning of minor items is not always the same. And we've just got a little tutorial section here to kind of get used to our controls. We've got a jump, we've got a wall jump, all the usual. We've got this little dodge roll here, which is kind of our main bit of movement for early on in the game. And that is limited by our energy as well. As you can see, the little yellow bar down the bottom. We can only dash 3 times before we run out of energy, and we have to let it recharge. We have another unskippable cutscene immediately at the beginning. We have to just kind of sit here and let this guy talk, but we don't really care about what he's got to say. It's a little story point where this is a sort of a Lovecraftian kind of story, and this guy is one of the deities or something like that, and he's gonna be helping us out, but we don't really care about what he says. We're gonna just kind of ignore him a lot of the time, so we just have to wait for him to finish talking, though. But basically our kind of base movement, you can see while I'm messing around with it here, just walking is kind of slow, but with this dodge roll we get to go faster, so it's all kind of about preserving that momentum as much as we possibly can. I'm going to do a quick little quit out here just to skip a little animation and also line up my mouse so that I can menu faster. And now we have our weapon and we can go and explore the world while it loads. Yeah, we definitely trust the red crystal, definitely. We're gonna just immediately zip down here. We can fall really, really fast with that downwards aerial attack. And make our way over to the first kind of major ability of the game, which is not really a major ability at all. It's a shield. It doesn't really do much, but it is really important for survivability, so we take it. And we get ourselves a shield. And you can see that by the little blue bar down the bottom. Got our health and our health elixirs down there as well. And what I was saying earlier about how the rooms are kind of randomized. You can, if you take a look at the little mini-map on the corner, you can see there's kind of these kind of dark blue colored, like larger boxes, and then these smaller black ones that are being filled in as we go. And all those little smaller black ones are actually completely randomized, so they're all procedurally generated. So I don't actually know the exact layout of where the rooms are going to be. I'm improvising as we go to hopefully make the fastest route possible through this. But sometimes the layouts are just really mean, and there's nothing you can do about it. But we're gonna hopefully get some nice layouts today. I've gotten some relatively nice layouts in my practice runs recently, so hopefully that keeps up. But
it's such a cool twist on kind of the classic Metroidvania experience, at least from the few that I've played, where you have this map that if you play the game a few times, you've like super memorized and you know exactly where everything's going to be. Having that random element seems like a really interesting thing to add to this game.
It's super great for like playing it again, because obviously every single time I've played this game it's been slightly different. And there is kind of a general gist of where you're going, you know, because there does have to be a path from A to B. And again, the large blue rooms that are kind of behind it all, those don't change. But yeah, the exact route through an area is always going to be different. And I'm going to pop over here really quick just to open up this gateway, because we'll need it later. There are these little shortcuts that we can open up these doors throughout the game. And then run back over this way. And again, it's all this kind of rolling and trying to keep up the momentum that you get from that. So you see, like, I roll off a platform and I can keep that speed by just doing these little bunny hops. And that's our fastest way of moving. We can also use our like upwards attack to get a little bit more height when we're going upwards as well, which is really good. And we're gonna hit that switch, turn all the power on, and we also get locked into this room, and we've got to fight a bunch of little dudes in order to get out. You've got these kind of forced combat sections that happen a little bit throughout the game. And we get to show off that sweet finisher, which is a super cool ability that was actually, that's one of the things that got added in the Eldritch Edition release. And it charges up, you can see the little purple bar down the bottom. It charges up when you hit things, and then we get to unleash those very cool, powerful purple attacks. And they're really great for just kind of fleshing out the combat. I just fell through the platform, that's awesome. Deal with these guys. And I think that's everyone, is it? No, there's one more guy. There we go. That's our first little combat section. And now that the power's back on, we can open this and head up this way. And this kind of early section of the game is pretty linear. There's not much to it until you get to the first major movement ability, which we're kind of heading up now towards. But once we get that, then we're going to start going completely not where the game wants us to go. We can also use our finishers for a little bit of extra movement there as well. Where's this way? Okay, this is a layout. And again, with our kind of upwards aerial, we can just kind of ignore the elevator and not die. That would be really good.
Yeah, that damage boosting to kind of like get through there, not having to wait for cycles, looks quite scary. I'm sure HP management must be quite an important part of this game, then I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's not usually that bad, in fairness. This is... it's much scarier later on. We have our first kind of little mini-boss here. We're going to see 3 different mini-bosses throughout this run. They are basically just souped up versions of the normal enemies, so there's nothing too super special about them. You just have to. This guy is mandatory. He's blocking the way. You have to get past him. The other two that we're going to see, that's an incredible drop. Oh my goodness. Okay. The other two are technically optional, but we do stop to do them because they give us things that we need. So two things happened there once we beat that guy. One of them was the really, really good thing that that was very good. The other one was the Elder Shard fragments that the guy down the bottom is talking about. We're gonna go down and hope this is the right way. It is, okay. The Elder Shard fragments, which, again, the guy down the bottom was talking about, those are our plot items. You get 3 Elder Shard fragments, put them together, you get 1 Elder Shard. And those are... You can either bring them back to these ability shrines and get kind of upgraded versions of the abilities, or you can go and destroy them, and which is what we're going to be doing in the speedrun. We're going to be destroying them because they give us money when you do that, and we really need that for our skill tree, which is another one of those things that is, you know, very much a roguelike aspect, not something you would see in a Metroidvania usually. Oh, there's another one up here. That's very nice. We pick up these little treasures because, again, we need that skill points. The other thing that happened, the very good thing, the mini bosses all in this game will drop something called perks, and they are your little passives. They're your, you know, your charms from Hollow Knight, your whatever. They're equipable passives. And there's a couple charms in particular that we're really, really looking out for. And the one that boss dropped there, that was Sharp Edge, that is one of the ones that we are really, really looking out for. That is a damage boosting perk. We really want that because it makes our sword better for free. Well, not completely for free, but... So we'll be definitely using that later once we get back to our upgrade ability section. And where we're going now is not really where the game wants you to go. After you pick up the double jump, you can go back up to the right and loop back around to, you know, continue going around this region of the game, but there's nothing really in this region of the game that we really want for speed purposes. Instead, the items that we really care about getting are in the second region, so we just kind of go out there as fast as we can. We pick up our double jump, and then immediately head out this way to get into the second region. And the second region, where you were saying earlier about the kind of HP management being important, this is where it really kicks in, because this area is very scary. Because of the fact that the game doesn't really expect you to go out here this early. There's going to be a thing in here. We are kind of, you know, and we haven't put any points into our skill tree or anything yet either. So we're kind of not very powerful, and we're going out into a region that is a lot tougher than the first area. Open this gateway up again for later, and we'll head out towards this area. And this is where also the randomized layouts are huge, because this section, that sometimes the layouts are just really mean, and we have to just kind of figure it out as we go and hope that it's not a disaster. So we've got kind of just a little bit of movement here for a bit, so if there's any donations or bits that you want to talk about, would be fine to do so for a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I can just I'll say a bit more about Trans Empowerment Project, who we are working to raise money for this weekend. Trans Empowerment Project works to ensure that incarcerated trans folks have access to resources like care packages, gender-affirming clothes, legal assistance, and affirming emotional support. Their inmate advocacy program is currently partnered with the Department of Corrections in 3 different states. and has recruited 77 gender-affirming volunteer pen pals, maintaining relationships with 30-plus incarcerated trans folk, up to and including post-release assistance. For more information about the work that they are doing, you can check out transempowerment.org. And again, !donate in the chat to get those donations coming in to help fund the really awesome work that TEP are doing. Do appreciate all the support that we've had so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. That's kind of one of those examples of the layouts being a little bit mean. I didn't need to go all the way up and around, but because of the way that the layouts usually work, I kind of expected to have to go all the way up and around, but turns out I didn't have to. So, a little bit unfortunate, but... this is also, I think, the second one of these rooms that we've passed through. They're these kind of spooky rooms with the big crystals on the minimap you can see, and there's these little, like, black spots that are there. These are actually kind of the rooms, the game's, like, lore rooms, so every time you hit one of those... Oh, thank you! Every time you hit one of those little black spots, it'll give you another line of kind of dialogue of lore, where our red crystal friend is going to tell us a bit about the kind of the story of what happened in this world, but again, this is a speedrun, we don't really care about that. So, and it also slows you down if you hit one of those crystals by mistake, so we really don't want to do that. We pick up another Elder Shard fragment there. There's a few of them from the mini-bosses, and they're also just kind of around the world. There's a couple of them that you can find. So we're going to be... Oh, what is this? Okay. We're going to be picking up 6 Elder Shard fragments in total, which is 2 Elder Shards, and then another 2 from the game's major bosses. And this area is particularly scary because all of these enemies are strong enough to basically one-shot my shield. So we really don't like getting hit around here. This part is sketchy. That was extremely sketchy. But we do need to go out here because our important speed items are out here, and we really need to just get those as fast as we can because they let us go fast. Oh, there's these guys, really? No, let me through. You don't like to see those guys spawning in, but...
yeah, I can see how really quickly, like, a bad layout can get quite, like, stressful and scary on a run like this.
Yeah, for sure. But this is the 3rd major upgrade that we pick up in the run. It's actually meant to be the 5th one that you pick up in the game. So we're a little bit out of order here. But this is our air dash, which is mostly it's important for getting through these little waterfalls because they will push you downwards otherwise. You can't, like, stand in them. Like, you can see how it pushes me down there. So that's kind of why we get that, and we need to get through those waterfalls. But we also get it just because it's good mobility for combat, and particularly for the bosses, which are big and very aerial focused. So definitely a very good ability to have. I'm gonna drop down here, and you're supposed to come through this area first, is the idea. You're supposed to come like, there was a room that we passed through a bit before that was kind of just a big long vertical drop where I picked up the Elder Shard. You're supposed to go down to the bottom of that room and do a little forced combat section and come through this way first and then go through into, like, the kind of area where it was more purple. But we don't like doing that forced combat section because it's long and hard and we're not powerful enough for it. But we do need to get to this ability. This ability in particular is the most important speed movement ability. And ironically, this is not a movement ability, this is a combat ability, but we use it for speed, because of course we do. This is our kind of smash attack. It's exactly what you would expect. You are able to do these kind of charged attacks, but we use it to do this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we are able to move really, really fast. And how that works is, in the same vein that we're able to kind of... Nice floor clip! Oh my god. In the same vein that we're able to kind of jump out of our dodge roll, we're able to cancel the animation of the of the forward attack by doing another dodge roll. And by then, canceling that dodge roll, you're able to preserve all that sweet, sweet horizontal momentum and just keep going really fast, basically. There's a lot of that kind of thing in this game where it's just canceling of animations. I don't want to hit that. And you're able to just move really fast with it, basically.
Yeah, it's like watching two different games almost, seeing the movement as soon as you pick that up. That's really cool.
It's very interesting, and it's reversible. You can carry momentum across different ways, like I did kind of accidentally just there. And we get to see a little bit of the skill tree here, except I don't have quite enough shards as I would have liked. But that's fine. We'll worry about that later. Yeah, and so we just kind of all of that. And what we picked up there just before I hit back to the sanctuary was a perk called Rebirth, which it does exactly what you would expect it to do. It lets you, like, when you die, it gives you an extra shot at playing the game more, basically. It gives you another kind of bonus life, basically. And Rebirth is really important because it lets us do something that was not really intended, but it's a kind of funny little trick. That's not the right way. We're gonna head on down. Hello? Okay, there's a waterfall there. We're gonna head through this area, which is also very scary because there's always monsters here. They are always here no matter what. Okay, that's fine. To again pick up another perk that we need, and also we're gonna trigger our little. We're gonna trigger Rebirth. We're gonna die on purpose here, and it's gonna trigger that. It's gonna bring us back to life. It's gonna kill everything in the screen, and then we're gonna go back to the sanctuary again. And what happens when Rebirth triggers is that it does something a bit wonky with your gravity. So if you trigger it while you're standing underneath one of those purple waterfalls, we can kind of just fly now. We trigger this game's moon jump, and we're able to just, go up really fast. We can just...
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if there was a good spot to show it off. That is this game's moon jump. It is one of, if not the most important discovery in terms of the route of this game, because the next region that we're going to head on into, which is the third and final region of the game, is very, very vertical. It's very tall, and there's, a lot of platforming. My movement is being terrible right now, but that's fine. The layout's not being very nice to me. Yeah, it's a very, very vertical region. So the discovery of Moonjump was just, huge, because prior to Moonjump being discovered, you had to either play the region normally and just put up with the fact that there's just a huge, huge vertical climb, or you had to get really, really lucky and go out and get the corrupted version of the air dash. So when you go and use you can use the Elder Shards to upgrade your abilities. The air dash lets you move, you can dash in any direction, which incredible, because it's only horizontal usually. But with the upgraded version, you can go upwards, and you would have to get super lucky and hit one of the special backer shrines. We stopped by one of them earlier. We've passed by a couple of them, I think, but there's one of them that gives you practically infinite energy, and you would just have to air dash up this whole thing. But we have Moonjump now, so we don't have to do that anymore. We can just fly up the whole elevator and unlock it for later. Pick up another perk on the way. We could just fly.
Yeah, this seems quite fast. Yeah.
It's pretty quick, yeah. But the kind of thing with this area basically is that there's 4 of those locks there. The guy's going to tell us a bit about it. And we're going to just go, while we have Moonjump here, we're going to just go unlock 3 of them really quick. And we'll come back to the 4th one later, because the 4th one has one of those forced combat sections tied to it. And again, we haven't really touched the skill tree yet. We don't want to do combat right now. We're not very strong. We pick up another upgrade here, which is our grappling hook, which I love this ability. It's really good. It's a bit unfortunate it doesn't really get that much showcasing in the any %, but it is a really fun ability. And we can just kind of fly and not die to the giant cloud. That would be really great. Is the layout going to be nice to me? It is. Thank you. This one. Oh my goodness. That was a little bit bad, but it works. So that's the north one hit. 1, 2, 3. And we'll head across this way now. And this ability here that we're going to pick up, this is what you're supposed to go to this one first and then go to the grapple, but you know, we're doing it backwards because why not? This is kind of what makes the vertical like there's a whole section of the map over here that we just don't touch, but that's where you're supposed to go up once you get this like wall run ability. We're going to drop down instead, because there's another Elder Shard fragment down here that we want to pick up. Get down to it. Can I get down without taking damage? No. I always try and hit that, and I always miss it. I've hit it a few times in practice recently, but... And we'll fly back up. Just casually. And head then up to the last of the locks that we're gonna get at the moment. We skipped the south one. That's the one that has the combat attached to it. And we'll hit this one here and go back to our sanctuary.
How much time do you reckon this moon jump is saved in the run, if that's even possible to answer? Because I'm imagining it's like completely rerouted.
Oh goodness,
as well.
It definitely completely rerouted it, but I only started playing and running this game about a year ago, and Moonjump was discovered before that. So, but by the time I started running it, Moonjump was already active. So I'm not sure from experience how much time it saved, but I know that the earliest speedruns of this, I went too far. The earliest speedruns of this were a lot longer than an hour 20. That's also because of the, you know, what Eldritch Edition gave us, like the easy mode, and it gave us the finishers, and it gave us this item that we're actually going to go get next. Because even when we return to Sanctuary, we still have our Moonjump. The only thing that kind of triggers it is if we trigger Rebirth again. So we're going to go and use that fact to kind of abuse the Rebirth just a little bit more, because we haven't done enough with it. It's not done its job yet. We're gonna get this for later, and then head back. Oi. And what we're going out to get now is, again, something that was kind of added in the Eldritch Edition. There's a few kind of extra abilities that they're not necessary, but they give you kind of a little bit of extra bonus. And the one that we're going to go out of our way to go get is going to make everything on our skill tree cheaper. So we get to just spend more money to get more things on our skill tree. Because I haven't really talked about the skill tree much. I kind of stopped off at it very briefly there a minute ago. But the skill tree is hugely important. It's really, really important. Again, the early days of running this game, it was just a grind. It was just a grind to get enough points to get the skill tree, to get the skills that you needed to get on this on the tree. I will stop for that actually, because I've been a little bit low. On money so far this run. But we stop in this way. I'm gonna play this a little bit safe because I don't really like how much health I've lost. We're gonna let that break our shield again instead of taking at our health. And we've got these kind of little puzzle rooms that are... they're not really puzzle rooms, they're just hit all the switches basically. But each of these, if you want to do them safely, they're puzzle rooms. And I'm not hitting my air slash today. Nope, it's not happening. That's fine. There's that kind of movement that I'm doing with the you know, doing the charged attack and then rolling and then jumping to get out of it. That is actually doable in the air as well, despite the fact that you can't dodge roll in the air. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a strange little interaction between the forward, like, smash attack and... there we go. And the downwards aerial attack. And unlike the grounded version you have to have energy to roll. The aerial one, you have to have no energy, or you have to not have the air dash ability yet. So because we do have the air dash ability, we have to not have any energy, basically, for that to work. So you have to use your dashes and then try it, which it's not easy. Fortunately, you can bind the smash attack to a separate button. You can have a separate button that is just do smash attack, but I don't have that set up because I prefer just the usual controls, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. But once we're in here, we've got another little section of combat with just a bunch of these guys, and again, this is where we're going to abuse our rebirth a little bit here, where we only need to kill 2 of these dudes, and then we just take an intentional death, and rebirth will do all the rest of the work. Oh, come back. The only thing is that combat with air dash, or with moon jump even, is not very fun, because you are able to just kind of fly when you attack, so you can't stay in place in the air. So we try to stay on the ground, or at the ceiling. Or we can just die early, that's fine. Oh, I see blind luck. I see blind luck. Oh, and that actually got all of them. Fantastic. It's usually 2 or 3 of these guys that we need to kill. No more perks? Oh, one up here. One of them died up here. Okay, alright, that's fine. But the other kind of reason that we like to do those guys is because they can drop a lot of perks, and the one we got there was Blind Luck, which is another really nice one to get early, because I'm gonna go put that on right now. And now, everything on our skill tree is cheap. Well, not cheap, but cheaper, and we're able to kind of unlock a lot more of that quickly. And finally, after all that, we're gonna go back and get that one item from the very beginning of the game that we skipped after we got the double jump. Except now I have to do this all without the minimap, because that's what Blind Luck does. All of the perks, I didn't really talk about this, but thank you, I will take that actually. All of the perks do actually have like both an advantage and a disadvantage to equipping them. So the rebirth perk that we had on, it gives us that extra chance at, you know, not dying. but it also reduces how many shards drop off of enemies. So it's not the best to have it equipped all the time because, again, we want those shards, we want that money, we want those skill trees. And we have to wait around here for a little bit. No, we can kill these guys in the meantime. But wait for the door to open, and we wait for this guy to show up. This is the second mini-boss that we're doing with. He's completely optional, but again, because they dropped the Elder Shard fragments, which we really want for our money, and also the perks, we do stop to kill this guy because he's on the way anyway, so we might as well. And we can kind of just bait him into this corner here and then dodge roll into the corner. And get a nice quick little kill on that, like that. And then finally head down to our last major upgrade, which is supposed to be the third upgrade of the game, but we're getting it last. Those, by the way, those are the backer shrines that I was saying about earlier. That they give you those temporary little boosts, you can see. One just above my energy there, a little yellow lightning zappy symbol. And we get finally our 7th upgrade, which is the cannon. And this is an ability that is a little bit unfortunate in that it doesn't really get shown off in the speedrun. We have a little bit of reason to use it in the mini-boss, the third mini-boss that I'm going to go up and do now in a minute, but other than that, it doesn't really get used. I use it a little bit sometimes in the final boss if I am playing like super defensive. That's not one you see very often. But it's, yeah, other than that, it's just because the way the cannon is, it's, it is good. It's definitely a useful tool to have, and particularly in casual playthrough, it's very, very good. But it just doesn't do as much damage as our melee crit build that we're so partial to. And I see a triple sparkly room over here, so I'm gonna go and get that. Thank you, Backer Shrine, for showing me where that was. Ooh, thank you. That's actually another perk that we were looking for, so that's really nice to get. Got very good perk RNG so far. Because those drops are actually like random. There's a big pool of perks that every time the game decides, alright, I'm gonna give you a perk now, it just picks one off the list and gives it to you kind of at random. So the fact that we've gotten Sharp Edge and Blind Luck and Berserk kind of in all the perk drops that we've got so far is really nice, because those are all perks that we are looking for. Pop my health elixir there. We can do this with the cannon though, which is pretty cool. Wait for this door to open. And that's where, we got picked up our shield there earlier. And that's what, the game wants us to bring the Elder Shards back there again. And since we have one in our possession now, since we picked up enough fragments, it's prompting us, go use your shards, but we don't want to do that. So we've got one last little mini-boss that we have to do. And we do actually get to use the cannon a little bit here, because these two guys at the bottom are lined up pretty well that we can just shoot across, and it'll hit the guy on the far left as well, or far right even. Unlock the rest of the game. So we're gonna do some little bit of skill tree nonsense right here. I don't have very many shards. I would kind of like more. We'll get crit damage, get all the crit build, and I don't quite have enough for the extra perk slot. That's really unfortunate. Which means I have to prioritize Nemesis. We can't use Sharp Edge just yet. But we're gonna head down to the first boss. Our first major boss of the game, which is Dominion. And the perk that we put on there, like I was saying, oh, Sharp Edge is the one we want because that gives us extra damage, but we put on a different perk there called Nemesis. And you wouldn't really think this. You wouldn't really think this is desirable, but Nemesis actually makes the bosses harder. And the reason we equip it, shockingly, is because it means we get more money. So, when I say the skill tree is important, that is really how important it is. We are willing to make the bosses harder to get more money in this speedrun.
Wow,
Let's see.
yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. But, yeah, say hi. There he is. All of the bosses in this game are huge. They're massive. They're all huge. So much so that the game actually puts a little marker above your head so that you know where you are. And they all follow the same kind of format. I don't like that at all. They all follow the same kind of format of having these 3 kind of crystal weak spots. And basically you need to attack each one individually to do kind of the overall damage to the boss. And this guy's going to be kind of moving around the room and sending out these giant fists at us. And hopefully we can get the crystals broken before he moves a 3rd time. That's the ideal, but I don't have Sharp Edge, so we might not see that. That's the first one down. And he should be okay. Or you can do that, that's fine as well. Oh. Okay, yeah, I was waiting for the 50% attack. Thought he was gonna do that. Yeah, there's... Oh, you went back up here. That's very nice. Usually when he goes for the 3rd... moving a 3rd time, he moves back up to the right, and it takes ages to just go get back to him, but... It's not very nice of you to move up to the left like that, sir. And another funny thing is that, like, once the fists actually come out, the hitboxes are only active while they're actually punching. Once the attack is out, it's out, and they don't do damage to you anymore. They can just move. Wow, okay, you're gonna move a 4th time? That's kind of a bit sucky. But it's fine, because we're gonna get the kill here now in a sec. Provided I don't die first. There we go. Okay, that was very sketchy, actually. Ooh! Berserk rank 2, that's nice. We get, yeah, so he's gonna die. We get our Elder Shard out of this, and we have 3 of them now, so we're gonna go do things with those. We're gonna go get ourselves some more money, because at this point, this is kind of, the game kind of has a bit of a strange difficulty curve because of how the regions work, where Dominion is generally considered pretty easy, and like Region 1 is generally considered pretty easy. Region 2 is more difficult, and the boss of Region 2 is more difficult. But still not kind of, oh my gosh. You know what? Give me this. It's still not that bad. But Region 3 is like really, really difficult, and it's very well known as like kind of the worst boss in the game, so a lot of this is kind of build up to the 3rd region. But part of that build up is we get to destroy these, finally. We get to destroy our shards and get more money. But this is kind of just waiting, so again, if you want to throw out donations or whatever, we do just have to wait.
Speaking of getting money, what a perfect segue. Yeah, we do have the fight Grey Crow with Umbrella incentive still open, and that's for the Death's Door run after this. And if that's met, then the Grey Crow boss will be fought with the Umbrella item, which is an item that deals half damage, and it makes the fight a lot harder and also twice as long. I think that would be really cool to get to.
That sounds like it'll be funny.
Towards the end of the Death's Door run. So yeah, please do get those donations in so we can get that incentive met. That would be really awesome. But yeah, thank you. Just as a reminder, you can use !donate in the chat and follow that link to then donate towards that, or also to the bid war that we've got active right now, which is whether to spare the Rainmaker in the Toontown Corporate Clash Manager Showcase or strike the Rainmaker. So yeah, please do let us know which of those endings you want to see. Toontown's a really interesting, cool looking game. I've seen a bit of it played before, and yeah, I just want to know which of those endings would you like to see, chat. It would be really great to you know, get those donations in, see which of those wins the bid war.
Okay, I didn't quite get it. I wasn't paying enough attention, but what I was trying to do there was do a little bit of a duplication nonsense where we can you can actually, if you return to Sanctuary fast enough after you burn those shards, you can trick the game into thinking that you haven't actually burned it while you still pick up the money. So you can, you know, you can get more. But we didn't quite get it, I wasn't quite fast enough. But that's fine, we don't need to. We cleared out a lot of the skill tree. Right there. Which is going to make things a lot easier as we head over towards the second boss. Because it really is just a boss rush at this point. We get to go back through more of this region that was very scary earlier and is a lot less scary now, now that we've got a lot more upgrades and we've got a lot more health as well, which is really good actually, because Sharp Edge reduces our health. I'm not sure why my health bar is that big when I've got Sharp Edge on, but there it is, I guess. Oops, it's up this way, because of course it is. And we get to kind of... Now hopefully this kind of goes alright with this boss, because this is the second boss is, you know, it's not really that bad in terms of difficulty, but he hits like a truck, so even a single mistake can be really, really devastating to your health. So we have to just kind of hope for the best. What's this layout being? What's this doing? You don't usually see these rooms. Oh, okay, sure, downwards. Yeah, why not? These rooms here with the big kind of like purple glowy treasure things in the middle, those are kind of optional little horde fights, basically. If you hit the crystal, or the treasure, it's not a crystal, whatever. Hit the thing in the middle, hit the big purple glowy thing, and it'll summon a bunch of monsters for you to fight, and you get a bunch of money and a bunch of perks out of it, but in a speedrun setting it's not worth doing, just because it takes too long to fight all the dudes. This is interesting. Oh. Got another lore room here. Pass through this. You can see all the cool effects that it puts on the screen. And I'm gonna open this shortcut just in case things go horribly wrong with this boss, because they definitely can. This boss is one of my run killers, unfortunately. I just fell all the way down. That's really great. Yeah, despite the fact that the third boss is considered harder, I have definitely lost a lot of speedruns to this guy, so... Hopefully it goes well. And again, they're big, and they've got 3 crystals. And a big laser. This one's also, again, it's relatively simple, like I was saying before, but that hammer is, at this point, it would probably take off like about a third of my health if I had the shield full. And if I didn't have the shield full, it would take off a lot more than that. So we don't have quite as much damage as I would like. Did I forget to unlock the, No, I'm sure I did. Ooh, okay. But yeah, he's got a big hammer, he's got a big laser. That's kind of it. Yeah, I definitely don't have as much damage as I would usually have, even with Sharp Edge. That's a bit unfortunate. I'm not really sure what's going on there. That's one crystal down. We kind of have to just wait around for him to slam on the ground, because it launches us up like that, so that we can get to these higher ones. And we'll just... We get to use our grappling hook a little bit to kind of get to them quickly. He does this big laser attack at 50%. And slams on the Oh, you're- oh, that's interesting. You usually just slam on the ground after that. Oh, you're- okay. Yeah. There's nothing we can really do when he decides to do that. Hi, buddy. Come on. I'm gonna hang out at this top one here, because he'll probably turn around in a second. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, we're fine. We don't have quite the damage, so this is a little bit slow, but we are doing fine on health, at least, for the time being. Whoa. Leave me alone. Oh, that's... that's brilliant. Oh, what? Okay. That's fantastic. That's really unfortunate. Well, we opened the shortcut. Yeah, I did unlock that. Where's my damage gone? That's so bizarre. Okay, well, unlock some more of this, I guess. That was unfortunate Hitbox's moment. But we did unlock the shortcut, so we can get back there a lot faster. If I get the layout right. No. Not down here. This way. Yeah, that is... yeah, so... tad unfortunate on the death there, but I did account for that happening with the estimate and whatnot, so we should be okay. And it's not all that's... oh, let me up! I've definitely had worse runs die to that boss, so... this is a terrible layout as well.
It wouldn't be a marathon run without some bad RNG messing with things.
Yeah, it really wouldn't be, yeah. Well, see, it goes into it's the perk RNG, right? We wasted all our perk RNG on getting the good perks, and now the layouts are being mean. Let's try this again. It's all a marathon luck. I do have to wonder what's happening with my damage though, because I feel like I'm not doing the damage I'd usually have, but I have my damage upgrade, I have Sharp Edge. That feels a lot better. Is it just because I had one crit chance upgrade that I got there that I was missing before? There's no way my crit chance is that different. This is certainly going a lot better though, so I'll take it. I can't complain. Okay, there's 50. Are you gonna... Okay, that's fine. Yep. I would like to get my shield back. You're not gonna let me get my shield back. Of course you're not. Oh my gosh, there's the waterfalls. I'm about to die again. There's no way. Oh boy, goodness. Please. I didn't have my finisher. This is so sketchy. This is so sketchy. Come on. Okay, I have to be very careful about getting these. Come on. Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, so close.
I was trying to be really careful around the bullets. I got knocked down into the laser again. Oh dear.
I was scared to speak. I didn't want to throw you off. It seemed like some intense focus, but yeah.
Oh, this is, yeah. This does happen though. This is one of those times. I mean, the nice thing at least is we get more money. we're getting more money. If you want to just go ahead with whatever in the meantime, because this is clearly giving me trouble today. So.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so if you are just coming in and joining us now, welcome into Archiethon. This is a speedrunning marathon hosted by Celeste runners playing other speed games and unique Celeste categories as well. Archiethon is being hosted here on the CelesteCommunity Twitch channel, so please do give us a follow to stay up to date on the other things we've got going on, including bingo tournaments, task premieres, special events, and other cool stuff. Check out at Celeste_com on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. You'll see about our events there. Or do join the Discord by typing !Discord in the chat to get involved with all the other cool stuff that we do here on this channel and in the Discord. This Archiethon, we are raising money for Trans Empowerment Project, and they're a non-profit organization dedicated to empowering the trans community through action, advocacy, and resource building. Founded and led by trans people of color, TEP has become one of the largest providers of direct aid for the transgender community in the United States since its grassroots origins back in 2016, and will not rest until all trans people can reach their full potential, free from oppression and marginalization. TEP's agenda is simple: to educate allies, empower the community, and ensure we all thrive. For more information on their many programs and services, you can check them out at transempowerment.org, and you can use the chat command TEP to go to their website and find out more about what they're doing, and as well as the chat command donate to get your donations in and help contribute towards the fantastic work that they do. Yeah, thank you so much for the support so far, and we do have the Death's Door fight Crow with Umbrella incentive coming on to be met by towards the end of the Death's Door run. So if you can get some donations in towards that to get that showcase, that would be really awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Alright, really? Okay. That's fine. Oh, yeah, so when I was coming up on this guy and I said like, oh, this is like one of my biggest run killers, this is why, basically.
Yeah, no, it looks very difficult. A lot of precision, bullet hell stuff, and like dynamic platforming going on as well. It's very impressive. Like, I definitely would not be able to get anywhere near through progress of this boss, I wouldn't think.
He's pretty brutal, yeah. It's mostly just because, again, those mistakes can be so costly because of how much damage they do. Again, you know, we did spend a lot of kind of resources, I think we got it this time, into our skill tree, but even then, we are still kind of not at the power level the game really wants us to be. There it is.
Nice.
Dear God.
Hell yeah. It's...
Where's the third perk? None of those are perks we want. That's fine.
But it's fine. They've
It's
been
fine.
defeated. It's all good.
He's down. We only have like a boss that's actually even notoriously worse after this. But we're totally fine. I've actually got a good amount of shards at this point. We're at, yeah, 35,000 after that. I will go also burn the Elder Shard that we got off that guy for even more. So we should be totally fine for basically the rest of the run. And we also don't need to run the thing that makes it hard anymore. We don't need that. So we're gonna drop back down and go burn this shard real quick. And that's how you know we like with the guy there talking about like, oh, the world is different. This is our first time coming back like into this area after having died properly. That's when he kind of says that. Also, this is atrocious layout. What is this? Why is it sending me all the way up and around?
Oh, we do have a $13 donation coming from Chuckles W73 that says, speedrun deaths just means more time for donations. Thanks to Dragonite13 for showing off such a great game. Yeah, exactly. More of a chance to get those donations in.
Yeah, exactly. Get them in. I want to see Umbrella.
Yeah, me too. We're really excited to see what that fight entails. It sounds quite chaotic and probably quite difficult, so yeah, I'll be excited to see that showcase. But yeah, thank you.
Okay. We're fine. Get back on track. We get to spend a bunch of shards on a whole bunch of fun stuff on our skill tree now. We get to get some armor, we get to get some reduced finisher charges, a whole bunch of fun things. I like to pick that one up, it's totally optional, but this, and we'll also nab, we go up this way as well. So much stuff. We don't need Nemesis anymore. We're gonna get our extra Berserk on here as well that we picked up earlier. Oh, we did pick up Shield Piercer. When do we pick up? Okay. I don't remember picking that up, but that is a very good perk to get. The Shield Piercer there for this particular segment as well, because we have, before we go to the third boss of the game, we have to do that last lock that we skipped earlier. We get to actually use the elevator now. We get to just go up the elevator. And yeah, so this is the one we skipped by this area earlier on because we didn't want to do a whole bunch of combat early on when we were still super weak. but we're able for it now, and especially with the Shield Piercer perk, that's really nice to have picked that up. Because that's the kind of shield ability that we have that, you know, is able to protect us a little bit. Certain enemies actually have that as well, and our Shield Piercer lets us just kind of ignore those shields. And some of the enemies that we fight in here are ones that have shields, so we get to just ignore it, which is super nice. But we've got to do one more little kind of horde fight here. And also the Berserk perk is also a super good one, so we're gonna just kind of melt through this real fast, because Berserk gives us additional combat strength, like, for each enemy we defeat. So you can see the little kind of orange aura thing around me, that's Berserk activating. And we're able to just melt through these guys because we get super attack stacks with that and with Sharp Edge, and we get to do a lot of damage to these guys. But I'm gonna try and get some of these guys out of the way, because they're kind of obnoxious. Yeah, these big jellyfish dudes usually have shields. We don't care about it at all. Is that the last? No, there's another guy. There's always one of those guys left. That was very good, Southlock. Super nice. And now we get to go to the boss that's actually considered the hardest in the game. But yet, for some reason, I don't lose as many runs to this guy. I don't have enough shards. That's fine. Put this one on. And, I don't really have another good charm, so I guess I'll just put Rebirth. Yeah, my health is... Hang on. Oh, well, no, because armor also... sorry, I'm just thinking about, like, why my damage was being weird on my health earlier, but never mind. We're on the way now to the third boss of the game, and this one is kind of notorious, especially for casual playthroughs. It is a very, unfortunately, complex boss for casual playthrough. However, in the speedruns, there's a funny little trick that I'm gonna try just once. We're gonna see if we can get it. But this is Rivalry, and unlike the other two major bosses, Rivalry is not one big thing with 3 weak points. It's 3 separate dudes, which makes it a lot more complicated because now I have to track 3 separate dudes. This one that I'm attacking here, this is Salvation. The one with the big machine gun is Legion, and that one in the middle there is the main crystal. It doesn't have a name, we just call it Rivalry, I guess. But you have to attack either Legion or Salvation and break them the way that Salvation is there in order to be able to actually damage the center crystal. So we're gonna just do that real quick, basically. And the reason we're gonna yeah, I'll talk about the trick in a second once we try and do it. That's actually, ironically, almost good positioning. So what the trick that we're going to try and do here is when the second phase of this fight triggers, so once they drop to 50% HP, both Legion and Salvation are going to kind of return to their starting points. They're going to both immediately wake up and go back to where they started the fight. And for some reason, we don't really know why this happens. It's like a state machine error or something like that. But for some reason, if they're already in their starting position when the second phase triggers, oh, that's probably gonna do it. Yes, we got it. That's brilliant. If they're already in their starting position, like Salvation there was, they just get stuck. They get completely stuck. And so she's gonna just sit here for the whole rest of the fight and not do anything. So we're able to just kind of go to town. And you can tell then by the fact that Legion here has gone all red and raging, and the shield is dropped, that's actually Salvation broken, despite the fact that she's not, you know, she's not animated that she's broken. She's yeah, she just sits here. which is a pretty funny little trick. Makes things a lot easier that she's not dashing around trying to charge into you. And it is actually possible, very difficult, but it is actually possible to stun Legion, or both of them, which is just even funnier. I've seen that exactly once, and it wasn't in a speedrun, it was someone messing around with it. So, yeah. Would you look at that, the fight that's notoriously difficult is just so much easier. we were a lot more powerful for that one, and we don't actually need the shard, so we can just return to Sanctuary as soon as they die.
Nice.
We're back on track.
We do have an anonymous $10 donation that's just come in as well, so thank you so much for that.
Fantastic. Go... just some more, I don't know. Just more damage and armor, I guess. Lose points. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, hang on. Let me switch this out. Oh, that's so much armor loss, but that's fine. Okay. So once we've got all 3 bosses defeated, we get this little crystal thing unlocks here in the Sanctuary, and this lets us get into kind of the final section of the game. So we're getting there. This is the Nether. Doesn't really look like the Nether that people are probably used to, but you know. What we have to do here in the Nether is we have to do 3 of these kind of horde fights in a row. This is actually the nice one. One of them is kind of based on Region 1, one of them's based on Region 2, and one of them's based on Region 3, and there's a few different kind of possible scenes that you can do, but we are gonna just kind of melt through these guys because again we have Berserk and we're able to just do so much damage and keep those stacks up, and huge damage increase when you're able to kill lots of enemies. And I do have Rebirth. I have to remember that I have Rebirth because I was doing a practice run the other day and I forgot that I had Rebirth on for this section, and I was like panicking that I was gonna die at the end of the 3rd section and then I was like, oh wait, I have Rebirth, I'm fine. So that's 1 down. Now pop a health elixir. There we go. And with these 3, you have to do all 3 of them. So if you were to die on the 3rd one, you have to do the first 2 again. It's a really unfortunate thing to if you die in the Nether, because it means repeating the entire section. And we are into the 2nd region's one. Oh. And again, we just want to keep up our stacks. I don't like this one so much. I'd prefer the other encounter. There's two possible kind of sets of enemies that you can get for each region. And this is the one I'd rather not have for this one, but it's fine. Yeah, there's one more guy here. Is there gonna be another one? Yeah, there is. How the spawning of this actually works is that there's only so many of a certain enemy that can be on screen at a time, so when I'm going around killing everything and I haven't killed any of those cultist guys, you just kind of get left with a bunch of them at the end of the fight, because there's only so many of them can be on the screen at once. And this is also the bad one, so we got 1 out of 3 that we actually wanted to see. fine, because we've got plenty of health. Well, not plenty of health, but we still have rebirth. We're fine. I didn't put my shield piercer back on though. That probably would have been smart. Oh my goodness. I think if I died at this point it would kill everything. Might be a few of those guys left. Yeah, okay, that's the rebirth trigger. That should kill everything? No, there's one guy. Is there one guy? There is one guy. One guy got left behind. There it is. Alright. No problem. No problem at all. So, that's the nether finished. So we're gonna pop back to the sanctuary just one last time to spend those last shards and rejig our perks again. And then we're gonna go into the final boss. And that'll be it. We're coming up on the end.
Nice.
We're gonna put some points into this. Yeah, that'll do. We're gonna swap our Berserk back off for Sharp Edge again, and I don't have anything better to put in that third slot, so we'll just leave Rebirth, I guess. And we'll head on into the final boss. There is a little audio glitch there, I think, where we... Did we get it? Yeah, we did. The audio gets a little bit quiet when you go into this area for the first time, and it carries when you return to Sanctuary, so... You get a lovely little section of just loads of horizontal movement, which is fun. And welcome to the final boss. And this boss is stupid. This boss is very stupid. But here he is, the big bad. One of the reasons that that's stupid is because that big arm swing that he does, that is a complete full screen AoE, and if you're not in iframes when he does it, you just get hit. There's nothing you can do about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's something.
He also, yeah, he pulls those little kind of ghosty guys coming from the back. He summons those guys. I do try and kind of keep count of those a little bit more. There's also that. This is where he swings downwards sometimes. And yeah, this is like where the grapple is kind of the most important. There's there we go, that's 50. Okay, one shard down. We're doing fine. All the dudes are here at the bottom. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, he's doing 3. That's okay. It's kind of a lot to keep track of all of this. Trying to count like where all the because he does whenever he does those kind of spirits, he only sends out 3 of them, and then it'll stop from that whatever position he picked. So I am trying to kind of keep track of how many he's called forward from each kind of section. That's 25% HP. Now we get wind as well, because why not? 1, 2, 3. I'm out of energy. But yeah, we're doing absolutely fine. 1, 2. Oh, that hit so hard. That's grand. 1, 2. Come on, lasers. There it is. Nice. Okay, so time is time is when I lose control of my character now in a sec, so I'll call it there in a second. And time.
GG's. Nice.
Ugh.
So
We pulled it back after the disaster of Hysteria. That's grand. I don't know what I wasn't putting a timer on, so I don't actually know what the time is, but we'll see what the in-game time is, because that's the time that we actually care about for this speedrun.
nice.
We get this little ending cutscene. And yeah, that's Sundered. There it is. That is Sundered any percent.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for showcasing for us. It was a really cool run, and it's another game that's going to be added to the list of things that I want to buy and play after Archiethon.
Well,
really
can
cool.
can I tell you something fun? If anyone remembers, about a year ago, itch.io did a special bundle in support of Ukraine. There was a bundle. It was for that, basically. If you bought that bundle a year ago, Sundered Eldritch Edition is in that bundle. You already own the game. So yeah, there you go, promo.
I bought a few of the itch bundles, but again, a lot of them are so massive that it's like I bought them because I was like, well, there's 3 games in here that I want to play.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I'll go dig through my itch. Maybe I do already own it. I can't remember if I bought that specific one, but I definitely.
There you go. That was when I saw that bundle go up and I saw Sundered was in it. I was like, oh boy, I'm getting this. I immediately knew that was the game that I bought that bundle for, was to get this one, because I've known about it since it came out back in 2017, but I didn't get to actually play it for myself until recently. But yeah, that was a 117 in-game time. Not fantastic at all, but it's fine. It happens.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to mention or shout out?
I mean, yeah, just I guess if anyone is interested in playing this game or speedrunning this game, just, hit me up or hit up the Sundered Speedrun Discord. It's very quiet in there, but it is there if you need help, and they've definitely helped me out, so shoutouts to them. And yeah, basically that's kind of it, I think. So, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, no, and thank you for showcasing that run. It was really fantastic. Yeah, so I guess we're probably gonna jump back to an intermission now and start getting things set up for the next run.